Hello everyone, welcome back to the weekly race guide. This is week 34. As always, we have 3 races this week, and yes, I've moved house, so if the sound sounds slightly different, that's the reason why. The setup will be changing as we go, so it is what it is. But the first video in the new house. So let's jump into race A first of all, and let me take you through that in a little bit more detail. Welcome to Japan then for race A, and I feel like we've been doing Suzuka every week for the past millennium, but there we go. Let's jump into the race details then. It is 3 laps this race. It's a full circuit, by the way. It's not just Suzuka East, which is unusual for race A. It's a grid start, and you will need traction control, and we are on sports hard tyres. In terms of the car, we are using the BMW M3 Coupe, so a little bit different, I would say. It's actually very stable in terms of rear-wheel drive. It just has no brakes, so you just got to be careful of that. So let's jump into the race now, and I'll take you through some tips, tricks, and also a lap guide, as per usual. Here we are then with race A, and that BMW M3. You can hear me revving the nuts out of it, and traction control on one. As I say, you can see a little bit of traction control being used there as the red drops off there. Just before you change gear, try and drop it off, and that will save you a little bit of time. As you can see, I'm on the outside, heading towards turn 1 at Suzuka. Not the best place to be, and I sort of realised that as I head there here, I'm going to back out of this completely and try and chuck it down the inside, which I do. Happy days. In we go, and you can see everyone being pretty clean, if I can speak English there. A few little bits of contact, but I'm actually in a lower lobby because my SR dropped after week 32, but even so, we're having some good racing so far as we come through the S's now here at Suzuka. Another one bites the dust there by that British driver going off to Narnia, and we continue on through now to the right-hander. Now this Russian in front was being quite aggressive, but aggressive in like a racy way, not as in a punty way, so I didn't want to chuck my nose in anywhere. So you can see there, he's pushing on here, and then I started to look on the outside, and I'm pretty impressed by this, by the way. If you watch this now, I'm thinking, okay, I'm going to scare you a little bit here. I'm going to try and go down your inside here. We go too wide into Tidgney 1. Now, I recommend you don't do that, but we both survive, so I'll just back out of it for Tidgney 2 and not cause any more hassle there. As through we go, the Spaniard there goes off, so I know the Spaniard's going to have dirt on his tyres as we continue now towards the hairpin. And I sort of guessed the Russian might go deep here because he was being a bit aggressive, as I say, and what do you know? So does Geeky Ball as well, looking at that. So we're up to P5 there from P12 or P11 or wherever we started. So happy days there. We are going to advance a bit further on now because there's a massive gap there to P number 4. And we're actually going to start the final lap and go through a track guide. Not much more happens in this race, to be honest with you, until the very end. But as you head down towards turn 1 here, I kept getting this braking very wrong. I did a test stream, of course, from the new house. Around the 100 metres just before it is where you want to brake. And you're going to want to brake and really be smooth with the brakes, okay? So as you go in, you might want to dab the throttle a little bit. You see I'm on both there at the moment. This time I don't do it, and I survive. You see, it looks like a brake early, but it's just to balance the car here. Just keep it stable. You may want to go forwards with the brakes as well, so -1, -2 on the brake balance. You see, you can go flat out fairly easily in this car as you exit a corner. There's not a huge amount of oversteer. As you come through the S's, dab with the brake. Again, if you can avoid using the brake, it's better, but I had to dab the brake a little bit here as we go through the left and then into the right-hander here. And again, a dab of the brake, just try and slow the car down a little bit. Don't drop to second gear. Remember, there's a delay in gear changes in road cars. So if you drop to second, you're going to have to delay going back to third, and that's going to cost you time. Stay in third gear, through there we go, and we head towards Tidgney. So Tidgney's the next critical corner you need to get right here. So as you head there, you're looking for that 50-metre board. That's one I always look for, and I use that as a reference. It doesn't necessarily mean I'm using that. As you can see, I'm on full on the brakes here, but as I pass 100, I know the 50, I start to brake. You are going to have to brake earlier than normal, so maybe you want to use the 100-metre board there. As you can see, I run quite deep, but I survive, and then we're going to use the curb there for Tidgney 2, as we always do. I haven't stopped it there for some reason this time. Anyway, we'll continue on towards the hairpin. Now the hairpin, it's the same brake reference I always use all the time for Suzuka. It's the end of this curb here. It's perfect for it. Sometimes you brake earlier for it, sometimes you brake later. You want to straighten up though for the hairpin, because if you straighten up, you get better brake efficiency, which is exactly what you want. So you use that curb on the end of the curb, brake. You can see we turn in. We keep it in second gear here. I found first was not necessary because you got that gear change delay as well again, because obviously we're using a H pattern here. As we continue out, obviously H pattern in the virtual world. In reality, I'm using the paddle shifts. We're going to head towards Spoon now, and Spoon actually a different braking point than normal because we're carrying so much more speed and this car has no brakes whatsoever. We're actually going to use that 100-metre board rather than the tarmac on the right, which is what we normally use. You can see the cones even further ahead than the 100-metre board, so it's a bit bizarre, but hey, what we're going to do. So we're going to use that 100-metre board there. We're going to brake, drop to third gear. You can see the Spaniard's gone off there. It's going to get a little bit tasty at the end of this one, and again, you use that right at curb there, halfway through Spoon as your sort of brake and turning point. Keep it in third gear. It's very easy to drop to second. I mean, when I was trying to get out the rust out of me, because I've not driven for a week with the house move, I kept dropping to second in the time trial. Don't do that. Just stay in third. Third gear is a nice gear in this car. It will pull you along and you will accelerate away. So I'm going to head towards 130R now, and you have to brake for it. I always say I don't like braking for it. I never normally brake for it. I have to brake in this car. First time I got there, I went flying off to Narnia. So the 100 meter board is where I'm using as a reference here. So just dab the brakes. You want to drop quite a lot of speed. You're going to go down to 115 miles an hour for the apex, and that's just enough. You might want to drop even more speed potentially. You can see I roll a little bit. I try and go on. I realise I'm going to understeer. The Spaniard there has gone off there, so I'm going to go, okay, all around the outside. Now the Casio triangle, remember the start of the pit lane on the right there is where you brake. So we've got a little bit of carnage happening here now. I think the Spaniard went for a move on Yadit there. So we take advantage of the ghosting. Happy days. And then we go towards the left here, and then Yadit moves over to the left a bit. Might be ping, I don't know. But we lose out on second there. But even so, third place, not bad. Let's jump to race B now. Let's have a look at that in a little bit more detail because we're going in some Group 3 cars. Oh look, another race combo we are very, very used to. Yes, we are at Red Bull Ring for race B. And yes, it's a combo we are used to when you see the cars of Group 3. However, let's look at the race details first of all. It's 5 laps here at the Red Bull Ring. And it's a rolling start, so no need to worry about traction control as much. Maybe a little bit if you're starting the last corner, but I didn't find that it was necessary, to be honest. It depends on the car, I suppose, depending on what you want to pick. We are on racing car tyres here, and it's just flat out race here, 5 laps, nice and easy. Now, in terms of the car, it's a power circuit, is Red Bull Ring, because it's just straight corner, and then there's a tiny bit of a handling section in the middle. So the car you're after is the Aston Martin Vantage GT3. That is the fastest car here. But, as always, with Group 3 racing, just bring what you like. Just have a bit of fun, to be honest with you. Let's jump to the race now, and I'll take you through some tips and tricks. Here we are then, race B and the Aston Martin Vantage GT3. You can see, as I do always in Group 3, I show you the entire grid, mostly Aston Martins. There's a mixture of all sorts in there. I would say bring what you like, to be honest, because have fun. It's Group 3 and it's Red Bull Ring. Anything can happen. Just going to fast forward this bit. So obviously if you're starting near the back here, so P12 down, P13, maybe just be a little bit careful with the start on the last corner. But you're not going to have tyre temps because there's no tyre wear on, so you can just straight off go for it here. 5 laps here. There's not a lot of time to make a lot of places. This race is kind of hilarious, to be honest. Well, it was in this lobby anyway. So going into turn 1, I nearly rear-end the Lamborghini. I don't, but they decided to go wide. And then he slides back on, and I hit him when he slides back on, and he gets a second penalty. Yeah, I just was like unlucky when I did this, to be honest with you. But anyway, we continue on now towards the right-hander. Obviously, this is where the big lunges are going to happen. So I expected the McLaren to go for it here. Went a little bit deep, maybe. No, it did make it, but sort of the Aston turned in. Hey, we'll take all 3 positions. Happy days. And through we go. That Lamborghini, 1 second penalty, now span as well. Kind of an unlucky race for that dude. Anyway, we continue on now towards the right-hander, in towards the braking zone. You see lots of action happening up ahead. Again, another big lunge attempt here from a lot of people, so just be careful on that inside, because people will go for it, and you just got to watch your radar. If someone goes for it, just don't turn in. Just let them go for it, and then turn in afterwards. As we continue on now towards this left-hander, you can see we are catching very quickly. Again, my SR is A at this point, so I'm still recovering. So it's a very much varied lobby here. And don't run too wide on that curb. You'll get a penalty eventually. More carnage up ahead. DBR9 goes wide, hits the Porsche, hits the other Vantage. We take 2 positions, and we take a 3rd. Unlucky for that Polish driver. A 4-second penalty for an incident that wasn't their fault. Wow, that penalty system is still working well, eh? We're continuing to the right-hander now, and then in towards the last corner. And you see Don Hunter go off there. So I'm thinking, oh, okay. I did sort of half anticipate them coming across, but I thought, okay, he's going to see me, he's going to see me. No, okay, maybe not. Didn't see me that time. Then sees me, just moved out of the way, and then we continue racing. Just a mistake there, just didn't look on the radar. It's all good. Continue racing, can have a bit of fun here. Anyway, let's advance a bit further on. So we just got up to the Italian now. This Italian driver, I wanted to show this because, you know, people always say dirty driver or clean driver. But sometimes contact happens even though they're a clean driver, you know. We all make mistakes. But I could tell this Italian was trying really hard to race, okay? So shout out to this Italian driver. Because, yes, they were struggling a little bit, but they were trying to race clean. So there's a little bit of contact there. That's not dirty driving. That's just him running a little bit deep. And you can see how he gave me space there. And then he looked, and then he moved over when he realised that I wasn't there anymore. Again, he turns in a little bit too sharp there. Again, gives me space on the exit. It's clean driving. It's just little mistakes there. You know, we're all different skill levels. Shout out to that driver. I just thought I'd show that because, yeah, it's kind of annoys me sometimes when people say it's just tons of dirty drivers. There aren't. Anyway, we're following this Aston Martin here. Unfortunately for them, they go a bit deep. Just be careful of that. And yeah, I said while I was streaming this, because as I said, I did a test stream. It's like taking candy from a baby, basically. We come up to this Polish driver now, and again, trying to race clean, you know, notice gave me room there, saw me on the radar, just trying to control it accordingly. I backed out of that a little bit just in case. I was thinking the same again, but then I thought, okay, we can go for the cutback here, try and go for the cutback, we can't really do much here, and then we're just going to get on the right hand side a little bit there. It gives me room again as we head down towards this right-hander, so up another position. Not doing too bad in this race. And I say, people are trying to race clean. You know, I've not seen any dirty driving for a number of weeks now, so while the penalty system absolutely sucks, you could actually argue that it's kind of working a little bit. But hopefully they fix the penalty system. I'd rather they fix it, to be honest, because that 4 seconds the Polish driver got earlier on was a bit sucky, to be honest with you. Anyway, we're coming up to well, on the final lap now. I merged it. That's a braking marker for turn 1, the 100-meter board. I just braked just before that. Brake down towards third gear in the Aston Martin. If you go to second, you're going to get a lot of wheel spin and it gets a little bit unstable. I did second this time, but I found third gear better because you notice I was very much high in the rev range there. And you'll notice I'm down. So the previous lap I was in third gear, this lap I was in second gear. You'll notice I will be down as we get towards this next corner. Brake marker here, well after the cones here. Again, the 100-meter board is 100-meter board for days here at Red Bull Ring. So that's where I'm braking just before it. You can see I'm on 100% braking here. It's just before it. Hit the brakes and drop to second gear. Don't go to first because you'll just get tons of wheel spin. As you see, I dropped to first, but you'll see the wheel spin in second. Notice how I'm instantly in the limiter. Stay in second gear. Just keep it stable. It's far better as we head down towards this right-hander now. Again, 100-meter board. That's what you're looking out for every time. 100-meter board, 100-meter board, 100-meter board. Boom, there it is. I'm braking just before that. And you want to stay left as much as you can to take a really nice line for the right. It's very easy to start turning in, and then you'll keep it tight and not carry as much speed. And what you'll find is you'll oversteer. So you notice there, I turn in, I accelerate out. You're going to get a little bit of wheel spin. Just be careful of that. Straighten up as best as you can. And accelerate through now this. And then it's not the 100-meter board this time. It's the 50. You're going to see that there. And you can also use that line, that white line, which is very useful because obviously you're looking straight ahead rather than up at that point. So use that line. You're going to drop, I can't remember what I dropped to here. Third gear, stay in third gear, keep it stable then. And through there we go. Be careful of this exit. If you go over the red and white curbs, you're going to get a penalty. Use the end of the curb there as your reference. You're going to drop down to third gear again. You're going to try and clip the curb, get time on the inside line because that'll drag you around the corner. And if it drags you around, you can then literally accelerate out much cleaner. Now I don't quite do it here. So you notice I have to delay the throttle a little bit and I'm going to run wide here. Be careful of the curb glitch there on that exit curb. Just avoid using it. We're going to head down towards the final 2 corners now on the Red Bull Ring. So the first one, 50-meter board. Well, it's not at the 50-meter board. I'm braking before it. It's in between the 150 really. So you can see I'm on maximum brakes here. Going to drop to third gear here. And again, you want to just clip the curb, try and get the tyre on the inside if you can. Straight through there, try and hope that you don't get understeer. And then the end of that red and white bit on the left. You can also use the yellow marker there. You're going to brake again. And you're going to try and go over the sausage curb in the center of the car. Because if you do that, it's perfect. We don't quite do it there. You notice how it jumps us up and bounces us out wide a little bit. But that's going to be Red Bull Ring guide here, lap guide and race. Not much happened. A lot happened at the start, not much at the end. Get 29.1. I'm sure you can get in the 28s or even 27s. But let's jump to race C now, which is heading over to Willow Springs, which I don't really like. Race C then here in America at, as I said, the track I don't really like. I hate Willow Springs. Well, usually hate it. Actually, this combo's not too bad. Let's look at the details then. It's 15 laps in length, so quite a decent length of race to be honest. It's a grid start with the false start check, so you know, be careful of that one. And we're using racing mediums and racing hard tyres, and the hards are required of course. And in terms of fuel and tyre usage, fuel is ×2 and tyre wear is ×7. Now in terms of cars, you're going to need 2 cars for this. The first one is the Audi TT for qualifying if you really want to get up there in the grids. But don't use that in the race in my opinion. Use something more fun because obviously you got the grid start with check. So that's going to kill the FF cars and then tyre wear of course. So in the race I actually use the Porsche Cayman. So any MR car, maybe a 4-wheel drive car, will absolutely shoot off the line. But I use the Porsche Cayman in this scenario. Let's jump to the race then and let's have a bit of fun here because we're going to go for a 2-stop. Here we are then, you can see the grid, lots of Audi TTs, and then you have the Megane Trophy on the right, and Alpha, you can see the whole grid there if you really want to look at it, and we're near the back, P17, not quite 20 drivers in this, you can see a varying degrees of driver rating there, but we are going to whack traction control on, of course, and remember, there is a penalty check, so I use the handbrake. I prefer the handbrakes. It's just lift off and go. So let's get ready for the lights to go out here. Traction control one, as I say. You see someone got a jump start there in the SLS, and off we go. You see the wheel spin from the BMW, not good. You see the FF cars have really struggled here. So look at the amount of places we are making. We're on hard tyre as well, remember, not the medium, because we're going to try a two-stop here. As we head towards the left-hander, I got a bit worried being on the outside, so I decided to avoid it. As you see the Italian go straight into the BMW driver. I think they were at it basically from the start, really, because they were right next to each other. As in towards the right-hander we go, I have to back out of that with the Italian. The BMW driver just misses me and doesn't see me that I'm there. But, you know, we've got to remember, we've got DR ratings all over the show here, from D to A in this lobby. So, make sure of all sorts as we head towards the left-hander. And, yeah, we're just trying to avoid people here. So, I go down the inside here, nice and easy. Boom, get hit slightly there. Believe it or not, I was testing 12k bit rate here for the... so, you probably got a massive pop thing, because I ain't got the pop filter on. But, yes, it was working well. And you see the Italian again, hit the Atenza, gets a penalty for it. So, the penalty system actually working. Yeah, that's a bit of a thinking strategy there, and believe it or not, it worked again, really, because nobody really got harmed there except that Lamborghini driver going off to Narnia, and yeah, no one got a penalty for the Constantina effect, so it's working. Kind of confused, but anyway, seems to be working okay. As we continue on, the Italians now got 2 seconds of penalties. Seems to be mounting those penalties up quite nicely. And as we're on hard tyres, and doing the two-stop, we're going to pit on this first lap. Now, I would argue we probably could have just stayed on the hard tyres in this particular lobby and done a one-stop, but I like to do two stops where I believe it's probably faster, so we jump on the medium tyres. We jump out and we catch up to these guys very quickly, all in a scrap. So obviously a two-stop in this lobby is not very good because you're just stuck in traffic, as the Italian just turns in us a little bit there. Continue on, and look, it's the BMW driver. This BMW driver and the Lambo driver are just sticking together here. I'm not sure what's going on there. But through the right-hander we're going to go, and we're going to start trying to make as many moves as we can to try and get up the field here. See if we can get a win on the cards, who knows. But we're going to continue on now in towards this long right-hander. We will do a track guide after. One thing to note actually with these daily races, oh actually forget that, someone's gone to Narnia. You can see that on the map. And is anybody else going to Narnia here? Yep, the SLS driver's gone, and I think the Italian driver, yep, there he's gone to Narnia. 3 visits to Narnia there, so getting in a few places. You can see a penalty up ahead, 1.5 seconds. Not sure what that's for. That's the Alpha driver in AE86 livery, I think. I don't know. We have some strange liveries nowadays. You can thank Lightning for that one. But through the left we go, looking to try and get on the inside. Job done. And we've of course up to this Volkswagen Scirocco here, which has 50 plus on it. I'm not sure whether he's trying to represent the 50 plus drivers. I have to slam on just to avoid hitting him or her. I don't know if it's him or her. But through right-hander we go. And look at that, 50 plus. Not sure what it means, but hey, if you're 50 plus, happy days. Well played for playing GT. Anyway, into the left we go. Now, I was a bit scared here. I got a slight tap, nothing major. Just trying to race clean, just tapped me slightly. And I wasn't worried about that, but I was worried because FF cars, if you ever go on the outside of an FF car, they do understeer. You're going to get hit. But anyway, continuing into the left. Behind the Frenchman now, making our way through the field. Now, with a two-stop, obviously, 15 laps. You're going to pit lap 1. And then lap 8, and then lap 15, or lap 7, 14, and the last lap, of course. One stop is in the middle, so you probably do 7 on the hards, and then 8 on the mediums, because they can go to the end in an MR car. It varies on the car as well, and FF won't be able to do that, they'll do the opposite. I'd recommend doing a two-stop with the FF. But anyway, we jump down the inside of the Audi TT driver, up into P11. Nice and easy move there, and we continue on. Somebody else going to Narnia there, just coming back on. They're going to have dirt all over their tyres. As we continue on now, and oh, the Frenchman's going for it here. So this is a problem with the TTs. They've obviously got much better top speed and acceleration, yeah, we're just going to get that nailed just. And that's some nice clean racing there with the Frenchman. Well played. As we chuck it into the right-hander and go a little bit quicker here as we advance towards the Mazda Atenza there, a little bit further ahead. Through the right-hander we go, and here we go into the left. So this Mazda is going to decide that it doesn't want to use the tarmac anymore. It thinks the dirt's quicker. Now, somebody does actually do that. Try and stay on the inside because they're always going to run wide. If you've ever done it yourself, you always end up in the left side if you've been off in the right. So always aim to be on the right side of the car as they come back on circuit, and you will avoid them. Just a little trick there. So we've got a Lamborghini driver up ahead here, Bowens, and through the right we're going to go. And are we going to get the move done? Ah, yes, this was interesting to me. The Porsche seemed to be able to match the Lambo in speed. Now, that confused me massively. when I did this. It really did. So yeah, just get on the inside. Happy days. And yeah, made the move. It surprised me though. The top speed definitely surprised me there. I wasn't expecting that at all. I was expecting to pull back into the Lambo to have to pull out again. But yeah, I didn't. Anyway, continue on. We've got another Audi TT up ahead. We're going to have a nice little quick move here on Mr. G. Or G. I'm not sure how you pronounce that. But heading towards this left-hander. And they're going to get it slightly wrong there. You can just see they're in a little bit deep. Going to lose all that speed and momentum. So round the outside, in towards the inside. Happy days. Another position up to P8 now. So we're in the Wreckfest position here. And we've got Spaniard up ahead. So we'll see where we can make the move on the Marlboro Audi TT there. Through the right-hander. Notice not a lot of the brake markers have been wiped out, which is kind of nice. It actually helps with this circuit. As we're purple as well. So into the left, into the right. We're still 12 seconds off the lead, of course, but we've made the extra pit stop early on. And been in all the traffic as well, of course. Because the traffic does have a huge impact on lap times. You can see that on the right-hand side. In towards the left we go. Nazam just runs a little bit deep here, so I'm going to carry a lot of momentum here. They just touched the dirt there. But again, clean driving. Like, throughout this entire 3 races I did, it was clean driving throughout. I mean, the Italian in this race maybe a little bit skeptical, but other than that, it was fairly okay, to be honest. And we approach Gomez now. In fact, I would argue I was probably a little bit not dirty, but I made a mistake later on in the race, which you'll see with Gomez. Yeah, we have a little bit of an incident, but even so, we're caught up to them for now in the Megans. We're in the line of stern there. The Leicester City fan, I'm assuming Leicester City. As we go side by side, they just get on the inside of the curb. I'm not sure if that was a touch or not, the reason for that, but hey, we got past them. We've got R4M, so one of Super GT's teammates here, R4M at Ram. Yeah, we're going around the outside here, which is pretty risky in the grand scheme of it. So just going to chuck it in here, try and keep that position. Some good racing here with the Norwegian, and we're just trying to give them room, but it's really hard when you're on the outside. Just get a little bit on the gravel, but hey, we're going in, so happy days. Is it gravel or is it sand? I don't actually know. Anyway, continue on. Lap number 10 now. We came out just in clean air and we made a few positions. So we end up behind Theseus now. Shout out to Theseus actually. Gave some support in chat. So we just make the move there. So shout out to you. And heading towards the left-hander now. So there's G-Man, there's Gomez. And through there we go. We're going to head up towards the back of these cars very quickly now. So you see the indicator on there for Gomez. So we're going to let the Audi TT go there. Which is obviously because of it's a straight line. The Megane Trophy is one of the slowest and the TT is one of the quickest in acceleration. So I think, okay, indicator on, I'm going to go around the outside. So it turns off just in the glare of the sun. So I'm thinking, oh, okay. And then Gomez brakes really early here. So I'm thinking, okay, I'll go around the outside. So you see Gomez is sort of like trying to judge where I am on track. So we come around here. I just clipped the gravel there. There's a slight tap. So you can argue I was being a bit dirty there, but it was an accident. Now, Gomez actually wanted to go in the pits there, he said, after the chat. I did apologise for it. Anyway, let's get on to a track guide now. So, first marker, the camera tower on the left-hand side. A very good marker. Just brake just before that. A very good marker for the Cayman. It'd be a good marker for the TT as well, I imagine, because it's very good on the brakes TT. And then you just chuck it in. You want to not go over the curb. You want to just try and clip it if you can. Be careful on the exit, because you can go for that jump on the right side. Here, you don't want to brake at all, really. You can just let off the throttle. You see I'm bouncing around 10% there. I dropped to third gear and I accelerated around, depending on the car, depending on what you do. But you don't or shouldn't need to brake. So just try and avoid braking if you can. As we head up to here, the 50-metre board, all that little bush behind it, because sometimes the 50-metre board gets wiped out, but that bush doesn't, so it's one to look out for there. Use that as a brake marker as you truck it in. Now, I couldn't decide gearing here, so I'm down in second at the moment, but I've buried between second and third. Now, as you come through here, you don't necessarily need to brake, but use the end of that curb as your marker to start letting off the speed to come down the gears, and it'll sort of help you through the corner. So, you know, you can dab the brakes. I don't in this situation. You notice I've just dropped a gear and trying to maintain a bit of speed. I got the corner slightly wrong, but nothing major. Continue on now, and you're going to have to be very careful with this. You can do this straight line over the curb. It's very dangerous though in some cars. Some of the FFs will go to Narnia, but use the end of that curb as your brake marker. And again, you don't want to go over the curb on the left when you hit the apex, because that will chuck you out like you saw with the Mazda Atenza earlier on. Now, be careful running wide here. You want to try and keep turning as more than you would normally think there, because if you run wide there, you're going to have dirt on your tyres for the last corner, which is definitely a Narnia invitation. So we're going to continue now through this long right-hander. Long. and you want to head out towards the left hand side. Now I use around the 150 meter board usually as my brake marker, and I'm just sort of modulating my brake then through this corner. I'm moderating my speed, so you're gonna have to judge this accordingly in your car. But the whole point of this corner is when you turn in, you're looking to try and hit the apex, the dint in the corner, and you'll definitely make it if you hit that. If you don't, it's a bit skeptical. Anyway, we're going to advance towards that 15 now, and that is the end of the race. I actually quite enjoyed this week's races, to be honest. It was nice to get back in GT Sport. Sorry the video's slightly late, but moving house and all that. Let me know if you have any issues with the video, because obviously it's all new stream and such, some new equipment as well. And I'll see you again in a video very soon. Ciao!